Well, I haven't seen any videos of these Haldex or whole set single pumper air compressors as far as doing the unloader, because what's happening is even with my unloader port completely shut off, I'm still cycling, put a new governor on it, and it's just cycling on and off. So I'm going to put in an entire top end kit on this, not the head gasket, just the unloader major kit, and just put this on for anybody that hands it taking one of these apart, because I haven't, and I'd like to know how it would have been done, just so I would have known how to do it, kind of get a heads up on what's inside of there. But anyways, we'll get into it. Hopefully the camera works all right. This is going to be kind of hard with one hand here. I don't think I'm going to do this way. I think we're going to have to do this a different way for sure. So you'll pop them 2 bolts off and this top end will come out. So you might have to pry on that with a screwdriver on a ridge. Be careful with it, it is aluminum. And then we just take that piece out. And here is the top end. We can take that all apart later. Spring, one of our seats. We'll get that seat out. Now an O-ring pick would be a lot smarter and easier, but I have to go to the shop for that, and I'm in the middle of the parking lot right here. I'm not going to do that. So we got our seat. There's a washer and a spring in here. And now we need to get our other seat out of there. And that sucker is in there. I'm going to have to get something underneath there and pop it out. That thing is stuck in there. My dad.
It's going to turn out bad. Don't blame
He told me never to buy this truck, and I did. He says it's a lemon because it's colored like one. But what I did, don't laugh at me. You know you were never there in my childhood. I'm putting that on, by the way. So I tried making a tool, sabotaging a screwdriver, and that didn't work. What actually worked is this thing was wedged down inside, and I got a punch in one of those holes, and I got it to turn, and then I was able to pop it over in those holes with the punch, and it popped out because this thing was frozen in there. I'm sure that's my problem of why it's not purging. But Dad and I were looking, and these two are different. That one has a whole O-ring port in this one, and this one does not. And in this major kit, there's some things that I don't know where they go and what they're supposed to do. But we're going to find out and let you know what we did. Right, Dad?
Yes, absolutely.
So this ring in the kit, right here, hopefully this all comes together pretty well. It actually drops down inside that circle down there. And then inside the hole, there's an O-ring that needs to be replaced as well. And that's going to be a little difficult because that could drop in the piston if you're not careful. So we got to be careful. To get that O-ring in that port, and that O-ring boss, I use these two, one to not let it drop in and then one to seat it down in. Then I used my pinky to get it set in that boss. So grease everything before you put it in, obviously. I mean, it's going to get motor oil blowing through it eventually anyways. But now we put our spring and our washer in just like this. And don't forget, like I just about did, don't forget Mr. Gold. Mr. Gold goes down like such, then this goes down on top. So I'm going to do that. Can't do it. So now since we got him in there, I still need to push him down to seat him, which I will. We put our spring in. We put our washer on. And then we put our top piece in. And then we'll push it all down into place. I'll take that out. I just wanted to see how that goes in. At least that's how it came out, you know, reverse order of operations. And then after that, we have our seal inside of here. That needs to be oriented the correct way, so the lip is facing the right way. For our unloader, that needs to be greased. That should go in there nice and easy. Our spring goes on top, and that sets down in place right there. Then you put your bolts in. We'll go step by step on it. I got talking to Dad, and I totally spaced putting it back together, but it was the same thing. Is it just had that reed valve. This just goes on top. Push it all down, seat it, tighten these down, and it's done. We'll start it up. They get to see me now.
And it won't work.
And Dad says that it's going to work. Yeah, stay tuned. You like it or not, now you're going to be a YouTube star.
Sweet.
Yeah, I have like 100 subscribers.
Wow.
I'm big time, baby.
How many likes?
I think I have 5.
5 likes, 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
With your kids and your wife or not?
Wow, I feel the love.
Not
Yeah.
his mother-in-law, not his
Yep,
father.
this is what I have to go through, everyone, when I try to work on something. These two guys come. So the one thing that I haven't replaced that I have coming is the 89 air dryer. We're getting compression gas back through the intake, which means a check valve at the 89, which that's not an 89, that's an AD, that's the one prior to an 89. You can't get those anymore. I can't remember which ones those are, what they're called. The check valve, and that's bad, which is lifting up my valve, which is causing this to unload. So it's the 89 air dryer is the problem. And we'll hopefully get that on the video and then get this thing going, because it's just cycling every about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It's just cycles. So that did not fix it, but I'm glad I did it because that bottom reed was stuck. So okay, so we brought her into the shop. The update on this whole set or Haldex 296 Cummins air compressor, doing the unloader. Found that the unloader line had a hole in it. That still didn't fix it. Put a new air dryer on, which we knew that one's going to fix it, but the other one was leaking out of the seal, out of the purge valve. It wasn't sealing up after that 15 whatever seconds supposed to seat up. Put that on, updated it to an 89 instead of an 84, whatever that one is. We were still bleeding off pressure somewhere, and I didn't know where. Took the governor off, went straight into the top, tested it with shop air, unloader works, one's it leaking internally. We were thinking maybe the governor, because it was a reman, new reman. They are bad out of the box. And then started spraying soapy water underneath everything, underneath the tank, on all the tanks, on the charge lines. Sorry, I'm crawling in here. Sprayed the charge lines, because this field service line, it can just start seeping out. We were thinking it was bleeding out, taking the wet tank down, and that's where the unloader line is. But looking at the lines, this is just trainee, this is for the PTO, but this is the wet tank. And you're like, what the heck? Where's our unloader line? Should be here somewhere. Well, it comes over on this side. That's our unloader line with our check valve. After about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, this tank would be completely empty. no pressure on our sensing line to our governor, and obviously we still had pressure in our tank because of our check valve. Well, there was a T right here, and this doodad fitting was going to another line going to the back of the truck. And this is where it gets really good. This line, I just got this truck. They JB welded the end. That's just, you can't make this stuff up. JB welded the end instead of putting a plug on it. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just remove the line. And then all the way down it had little pinholes. Now you couldn't hear this. I could not hear any of this leaking. There was no audible leaks. But that was causing that line on the source sensing line of the governor to bleed off. Compressor thinks it needs to kick back in because it's down below that 95 or 100, whatever that kick-in pressure is. I think I'm at 120, so it'd be like 95 psi kick-in pressure. Thinks it needs to kick in, so it kicks in, purges, unloads like it's supposed to, and then after 30 seconds it does it all again because this line was directly connected to the sensing line and it was bleeding off all the pressure. So mine wasn't had nothing to do with the unloader, had nothing to do with the governor, had nothing to do with the 89, it had everything to do with that line. If I would have just replaced the line, I would have been fine, but I'm glad I did it because this is an old truck, so I still wanted to do it, but that one's at the problem. Anybody that's out there, hopefully that helps you when you at least do an unloader kit in those single pumper 296s on the Cummins. And yeah, that was a fun one. It's fixed now.